Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is an honour to rise in the House today in response to the speech from the throne and to share some words about myself, the communities I am privileged to represent, and the land for which we all bear responsibility as treaty people. In preparation for this, my maiden speech, I read the speeches of many current and past members, both from my riding and across the province. From this reading, I learned that the members who sit in this chamber, particularly over the last decade, have followed an astounding myriad of paths to these seats. We come from business, from law, from nonprofit. We were born here, or we came here from any corner of the world you could think of. I know that when I look amongst my fellow caucus members, I am truly seeing a reflection of the diversity in Alberta. Just a few weeks ago, celebrating Thanksgiving with my family, I had the chance to reflect on my own path to this House. I overheard my mother say that she'd known for a long time that I would end up serving in government. This was news to me, so I leaned in to hear the story. She reminded me of what happened in 1993 in a federal leadership contest. We watched together as Kim Campbell became the first female Prime Minister of Canada. With all the teenage sarcasm I could muster, which is to say quite a lot, I said I still had a shot. I could still be the first elected female Prime Minister of our country. Well, what I tossed out as a quip, my mother remembered as a spark that just needed a bit of nurturing to grow. My mother told this story as a way to illustrate how I was inspired by the mighty women who came before me in this arena. The women who did the hard work and blazed the trail to make the caucus that I sit in, a gender-balanced caucus, a possibility. She told the Thanksgiving table that Kim Campbell was the reason why I ever thought to pursue the opportunity to serve from elected office. This isn't true, of course. I spent a decade of my life watching my mother balance a full-time job, raise 2 children alone, and complete an accounting degree over that many years of night school. I didn't have to look outside of my own home for all the inspiration I needed. Being raised by a single mom meant we didn't have the luxury of extras. I was always warm, always fed, and always loved. So certainly I grew up with more privilege than many. The resources at my disposal were found in the public school down the street and my Calgary Public Library card. These 2 institutions, public schools and public libraries, are the great equalizers in our society. Much like Judith Umbach, the mighty woman after whom my community library is named, books and libraries have always been a part of my life. Books provide an invaluable window to the world, and the library itself provides an important third place in communities, a place for an incredible diversity of people to gather. The Judith Umbach Library is just such a vibrant community gathering space in my riding. So when I first moved into the riding I now represent, Calgary-Beddington, my top 2 criteria were how far the walk would be to the local public schools and the local library. My community of Huntington Hills won my heart when the answer to both was under 15 minutes. Today, I am proud to serve my own community of Huntington Hills, along with Beddington Heights, McEwen, Sandstone Valley, Hidden Valley, and Country Hills. The communities that make up Calgary-Beddington have schools teeming with a wonderful, diverse population of kids. We live in single-family homes, apartments, duplexes, co-op housing, social housing, and senior centers. We have active community associations run by extraordinarily dedicated volunteers who are doing the heavy lifting of community building. I see community spirit in my riding every single day. I see it in my neighbors clearing snow for the elderly homeowners on the block. I see it in the library volunteers helping newcomers navigate our systems. I see it in the moms advocating for their kids by patching all the holes and gaps and cracks in an education system more focused on funding per capita than per student. For me, it is no surprise that my communities are this way, because we live every day in the shadow of a monument to the power of community action. Nose Hill Park, one of the largest urban parks in North America, delivers my favorite aspect of living in Alberta: swaths of rolling grass under a huge prairie sky. The land on Nose Hill is special. You feel it as soon as you set foot in the park. You feel it next to the Siksika Itatappi medicine wheel. This is a park that exists because of the communities surrounding it. In the early 1970s, plans to develop land atop Nose Hill Park began forming. Community members who knew the immense historical value of this place and the benefits of protected urban parks took a stand. Their advocacy saved this piece of land for future generations. Nose Hill Park is an important place to allow us to reconnect with this land and the legacy of all the struggle and sacrifice and hope that led us to today. And it exists because ordinary people sensed it was important, more important than its price tag, to set aside a place so that we could stay connected to the land and to what came before us. Today I am speaking to you from Treaty 6 lands, but in my riding, we honor and recognize the Mohkinstsis and the traditional Treaty 7 territory. It is with enormous gratitude and respect that we acknowledge the ancestral home, culture, and oral practices of those Treaty 7 signatories. A land acknowledgement is imbued with as much meaning as its speaker chooses to put into it. On the occasions when I am delivering a land acknowledgement, my head and heart are often on Nose Hill Park. I am sitting amongst that rough, fescue prairie grass. I am warming my back on my kids' favorite climbing rock. Above all, I am underneath that prairie sky. Madam Speaker, I would like to conclude with gratitude. I am grateful for Nose Hill and the legacy of its history. I am grateful for the communities of my riding and their legacy of lifting each other up. I am grateful for my mother and all she showed me about hard work and humility. In this House, my guiding star will be to honor these three legacies. I very much look forward to working with you all. Thank you.